Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining this session. We're going to talk about WeCloudData's new self-paced data and AI bootcamps. So I think I may have mentioned this a couple of times in my previous events, but today we're officially introducing the data bootcamps as well as AI bootcamps, the self-paced version. So as you know, there are different data programs with with WeCloudData. We have live boot camps. For more experienced students, we have real client project option, but we also recently introduced a self-paced boot camp. And today I'm going to focus on the self-paced boot camps. So the self-paced boot camps, you can join anytime. You have a lot of flexibility, and the training material has been pre-recorded. So you will be able to go through the training material on a self-paced basis, and it can go fast, or if you're busy, you can go slowly. And there will be more than 200 hours of content, including video lectures, labs, demos, and exercises. And most of the exercises have solution walkthrough as well. And in each program, student will need to complete 2 capstone projects. And you'll be working with mentors to complete the project and receive guidance. So it's not it's very different from Udemy and Coursera courses, because you'll be working with someone and receive support along the way. In terms of learning support, we're always available on Slack and Discord, so you can ask live questions. There will be a weekly check-in, so you get to talk to your mentor on a weekly basis. And there's also office hours. If you just have questions, you can drop in. There's a fixed weekly schedule where you can come in and meet with your peers as well. So that's the self-paced program, and we have several different options in data science, BI, data analytics, and AI as well. And I'll share a little bit more about the curriculum shortly. And in terms of how WeCloudData supports students in this self-paced program to become successful, first of all, you go through the boot camps. In the self-paced boot camp, you'll be learning all the hard skills, and you will need to build portfolio projects as well. This applies, to the live boot camp as well as the self-paced boot camp. So you absolutely need to work on projects so that you can showcase your success stories with employers, but also we offer the option to work on real client project. And the student also receive one-on-one mentoring. You'll be working with a data scientist to teach you if you have any challenges and questions about the material, but also they're going to guide you through the projects. We have every month we have group career sessions, so the student can join and learn how to write resumes and do mock interviews. There'll be group practice as well. And then we also refer students to different employers. So that's what the journey looks like. And in terms of the self-paced mentoring, again, as I mentioned, there will be, as the student goes through the self-paced bootcamp, there will be weekly or monthly group career session that actually happens twice a month. And when you work on the real client projects, we offer mentoring as well. So we'll be working with the project managers and team lead, and you'll be joining real projects. So every week you'll meet with the client as well. And as you go through the learning phase, there will be weekly check-ins. So you'll be talking to the mentor whether you want support on on a specific topic, or when you work on the project you don't know how to get started. This is what the mentorship program can help you with. These are the 4 programs we have in data and AI track. So we have data analytics, data science, AI engineering, and data engineering. So I'll spend maybe 5 more minutes to walk you through some of the details, what we cover. So first of all, for the data analytics program, the student will need to start with Excel. But if you're familiar with Excel, you can move on to other topics. So these are all the courses we have in the data analytics track for the self-paced learning. So after Excel, student will need to learn SQL programming, And then after, SQL, you need to learn Python. And then after that, we move on to data analytics. So you'll be learning data wrangling with Python. And then we move on to data visualization. So you'll learn how to do visualization using Python, but also there will be a course on Tableau, one course on Power BI. So we'll learn how to build dashboards. And then for data analytics, we also cover statistics and math for data analysis. That's another course. And after that, we introduce machine learning, but it's with a focus on no-code ML, tools like SageMaker Canvas or RapidMiner or KNIME. So we'll introduce the machine learning concepts, and student will be working with no-code tool to build machine learning models. There's another course called Generative AI Introduction. So you'll learn, prompt engineering and the, whole ecosystem. And that is a fundamental, skills to learn. And then we focus on data analytics use cases. So up till this point, right, after you finish no code ML, statistics, Gen AI, and all the Python visualization modules, you need to actually work on mini projects. This is where we introduce use cases. So there will be use cases covering marketing analytics, HR analytics. There will be e-commerce, there will be retail banking, risk management. So yeah, we have 5 to 6 use cases and where students need to work on mini projects. So that's the data analytics program, and it's available in self-paced fashion, and you can work with a mentor to complete the program and complete the projects. Moving on to data science. So for data science track students, your journey begins with SQL. Learning relational databases and how to write queries. And then again, you move on to Python. We introduce no-code ML for data science students as well, just at the very beginning, so students get a sense of what machine learning is before they move on to more sophisticated topics. We introduce students to generative AI as well. And then you move on to data wrangling, working with pandas, SQL, and how to prepare data for data science and machine learning. We cover data visualization using Python as well. And then there's a course called Mathematics for Machine Learning, covering the basics of statistics, linear algebra, and optimization. And then we move on to machine learning. The machine learning course is pretty heavy. It covers many different topics, including the overall workflow and pipeline, data preparation, feature engineering, and then classification, regression, clustering, unsupervised learning, as well as deep learning and NLP as well. And deep learning is covered in a separate module. After machine learning and deep learning, we move on to big data, and students will get introduced to Amazon Web Services. We'll teach GitHub, and then move on to big data. So for big data, we focus on Apache Spark, teaching students how to scale machine learning and also analyze big data. So that's data science. Now moving on to AI engineering, and these are some of the advanced topics we cover. In the live bootcamp, AI and machine learning engineering bootcamp, we assume that the student know Python and machine learning already. So that's a prerequisite. But in a self-paced program, if someone's objective is to become AI engineer and she needs to start from scratch, this is the right program because it starts from Python programming, data wrangling with Python, visualization with Python. So this covers the fundamentals. And there will be math for machine learning course, machine learning. So this is like 30-40% of the content covered in the data science program. That helps you build up the prerequisites. And then we move on to AI fundamentals, computer vision specialization. There will be large language model and NLP specialization, and we start to cover AI agents as well. So this is a pretty advanced course. And after computer vision NLP, we move on to MLOps engineering. So student will be, again, learning Git, Docker, MLOps, large language model operation and deployment. So this is the whole curriculum for the AI engineering program. It may take you more than 6 months to complete. depending on your current level. I'm pretty sure the students will be able to complete that in 6 months if you already know data science, Python, and the basics of machine learning. But if you're starting from scratch, it may take you 9 months to complete the whole program. So that's the AI engineering curriculum. In the data and AI programs, we also have data engineering self-paced. So starting from SQL, Python, advanced Python programming, and then we move on to data wrangling. So that covers the fundamentals of data engineering programming, right? We introduce students to Linux operating system, and then move on to Docker and cloud computing. We teach AWS and Azure in the data engineering program. We're adding GCP in the future as well. Now, after you learn all of these fundamental skills, you can move on to the specialization. So analytics engineering, covering data warehouse, modern data stack, ELT, DBT. So these are all the necessary skill you need to become analytics engineer. And then we move on to big data engineering specialization, covering Apache Spark, distributed system, and all the big data concept. And you need to complete a project. Analytics engineering project is based on Amazon Web Services. And when you work on the big data engineering project, everything is based in Azure Cloud. So you get to connect all the dots. And then again, data ops, Git, data pipeline automation, orchestration, as well as advanced topics such as streaming data, real-time systems. So these are the high-level curriculum for the self-paced data and AI programs. Hopefully that's enough detail. And yeah, that's my presentation, introducing the self-paced program. So I have some time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me anything. Feel free to send your questions to the chat, or you can unmute yourself, and I'm happy to chat. So there was a question from Pat. In data engineering, you have cloud, AI, and Azure. In AI engineer, we'd see, for example, MLOps or LLM ops in cloud platforms. Absolutely. So, in MLOps engineering, I want to show everything on one slide, but the MLOps program is very heavy. You know what? Let me show you the learning platform. So this is actually the self-paced MLOps course. So even just for the MLOps course, you notice that it's very heavy. So these are the chapters, right, for this course. So we cover MLOps fundamentals, model training and tuning. In the model training, so the way we design this program is that we follow a typical model, ML engineering pipeline. So it starts from model training and tuning, right? So we cover topics such as SageMaker to scale your model training in the cloud. We cover Ray, which is getting more popular recently as a distributed system for machine learning and LLMs as well. We cover experimentation tools such as MLOps and Spark, right? But if you click into it, there will be lectures on Spark Hadoop distributed system. There are a lot of demos and exercises as well. And then we move on to model packaging, model serving. There are different options, right? You can do model serving using AWS Lambda, but we cover Flask and different ways of deploying models as well. When we move on to model deployment, there will be CI/CD basics, using Lambda API gateway to deploy your models. Yeah, so that's the entire MLOps part is implemented in the cloud. We have a focus on Amazon Web Services. Okay, I can also quickly show you the the large language modeling course. For example, we start from NLP basics, right? Covering the basic NLP stuff. There will be, as you can see, just for one small topic, we have 5 exercises and 4 demos. The demos will have you have access to notebooks, right? You can download the notebooks and work on the exercises, but there will be, video walkthroughs explaining how that works. And then we cover embedding. So these are some of the fundamental stuff before we move on to data preparation. I think this is probably a better view. Let me go back. So large language modeling very much depends on the quality of data. We spend quite a bit of effort on data preparation, right? So there will be data collection topics, introducing web scraping, data preparation for large language modeling, labeling, annotation. We cover different ways, like you can manually label your data, working with SageMaker, Amazon Mechanical Turk to scale that. So you can automate the process. There will be notebooks, there will be solution walkthrough. So that's the self-paced learning. This is our learning platform, and then we move on to transformers. Some of the exciting stuff, starting from the recurrent neural network, moving on to attention, transformers, and then we will move on to model pre-training. So covering different types of generative models, and then post-training. You need to understand how to evaluate large language models, and how to deploy models in different ways. And there's quite a bit topics on focus on fine-tuning and customizing LLMs before we move on to RAG. So we introduced like indexing vector databases, how to work with LangChain, and building RAGs. So that's the LLM course. But again, this is just one course in the whole curriculum, which is LLM. So I think we provided more than a year worth of content. So you really have to sort of talk to the mentor, create a more customized learning path. I don't think you'll be able to finish everything, but these are actually very good references, even when you become a data scientist or a machine learning engineer. And we keep adding content. So this field is evolving fast, and we notice how we have to keep sort of developing new content and stay up to date as well. Okay. As I mentioned, students will be working with learning mentors. You talk to the mentor on a weekly basis. So we have forms that you can use to book mentorship. You'll be describing the kind of problems you have, and then we'll assign the right mentor to you. So you'll be working with different mentors, or if you prefer, you can stick with the same mentor. These are learning mentors. When there's an option to add career mentorship as well. So we will have dedicated career mentors to work with you after graduation as well. Do you have any other questions? It can be any questions. It doesn't have to be questions about the curriculum.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I did post a question in the chat, but I guess you're not reading it. I did do the U of T bootcamp for data analytics, but I see that the content that you have for data engineering, there's a few things there that we just briefly touched. It, and since I already probably know about 70% of this, um, so the self-paced program would be probably more appropriate because I could probably go quickly through the stuff I do know. Is that what the expectation is?
Yes, exactly. It's self-paced, gives you the flexibility. So unlike a live boot camp, right? For example, we cover so in the self-paced program, you'll find more content for sure. The live boot camp has a fixed, schedule. It's weekly, right? So you spend 6 hours in lectures and 4 hours, doing labs. Some students definitely prefer live sessions. However, if you know SQL and Python already, like in your case, then the first 2 weeks you have to sit through these classes. It might not be productive for you. Like if these are the missing pieces, then in a self-paced program, you will just go through, just start from here instead of starting from the very beginning. And then the biggest value add of this self-paced program, right, is not just the content. You can get content from the internet, but it's more structured in our case. But I think the biggest value add is you actually, even though you skipped some of content, but your mentoring hours will be the same. So we'll be working with mentors, and you can actually focus more on advanced topics and spending more time on projects. Because if you're able to complete 4 projects in a matter of 6 months, then by all means, right? But in the live boot camp, it's part-time program, so a lot of students have like a full-time job, so they're studying like on a part-time basis, and they're scrambling and like really trying their best to find time to study and work on projects. So I think the pace will be slower, but for some of the students who are absolutely confident in their self-learning skills, I think this can, you can finish as soon, like as fast as 3 months instead of waiting for 6 months. So yeah, that's actually one of the primary reasons why we created the self-paced programs with mentorship.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, and when you talk to the sales, our learning advisors or sales team, you can also need. I think I'll give you some tips. You can negotiate with them, because if you know Python SQL and you can pass the test already, let's say you would like to do the data engineering program, but first 30% of the content you don't need them. However, you're interested in, let's say, some other courses, like you want to take a machine learning course. Now you have the flexibility to do that. So you don't have to stick with just one program. I think very soon this summer, we're going to launch something called, create your own boot camp. So you can pick and choose. And as long as you work with someone to create the most suitable learning path for yourself, and then you'll be successful instead of only sticking with the existing programs.
That actually sounds really good. It's good to
Yeah,
know.
so you can start talking with us already. Like you just have someone maybe talk to the program manager, and then just choose the courses you want. And then we'll just, because you're not staying with one mentor. Because in a typical data engineering program, the mentors are all data engineers. But if you want to learn AI, they may not be able to help you. In a self-paced program, when you fill out the form and say, hey, I'm in a data engineering program, but I have this question about AI, we can just tell us what problem you have, and we can just connect you with a different mentor. So it can be very flexible. Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. There was a question from Eugene. What about DevOps? Yes, we have, as you know, WeCloudData also has cloud engineering and DevOps program. Today's topic is about data and AI, but we have self-paced DevOps as well. So as you can probably tell, it's the same structure, but some of these courses will be overlapping, right? You'll learn Linux operating system, Docker, cloud engineering, Git. But then there will be heavy focus on Kubernetes CI/CD pipelines. But yeah, but we have the same self-paced program for DevOps, cloud engineering as well. And I strongly recommend anyone who's doing DevOps to learn MLOps as well. So you can create your own like machine learning focused DevOps program. I think this is going to really help. And you know what? The good thing about this is the tuition is a lot lower than a regular live boot camp. We have live boot camp, but you know you'll be attending live classes, and that's why the cost is high. It's you know the tuition is more expensive, cost is high on our end as well. But with the self-paced program, because a lot of things are pre-recorded and you're working with mentors, so the cost almost dropped by half. So I think these can be really good options. And now you have actually the options to add a real client project and maybe career mentorship. But you know, I see this offering a lot of flexibility. Ashley, question. So could you please touch on what are real-time client projects and explain them a bit more detail? Yeah, let me see if I have the slides for that. Okay, I don't have that in this deck, but we have something called real-time client project. So these are this is like a service we provide. It's some sort of mentorship, but it's most of the students joining the real client project are our bootcamp graduates or students who graduated from a master's program, like Masters of Data Science or Master of Computer Science, or you graduate from other boot camps. And if you are, you know, having some challenges, you know, getting interviews, right, landing jobs, the real client project, basically, you will be placed on real company projects as a consultant. So if you're working, you know, with our consulting company called Beam Data, and we put you on these projects, you work with the client, you work with our project lead or project manager to add experience to your resume. And this works out really well for career switchers because if you come from healthcare but you're not a data person, and you would like to work as a data engineer in healthcare or in banking industry, what's missing is relevant work experience. It's not just the skill set. So yeah, I think most recruiters will skip your resume if you don't have relevant work experience. So the real client project will allow you to add those experience to the resume. And you gain real life experience and you improve your skills as well. You gain more confidence and you'll do a lot better in interviews as well because there will be more talking points. There will be more context as well. So that's the real time project. So you can you know purchase this as a bundle. Like you go through self-paced learning with mentorship. That's phase one, and you complete that and move on to the real client project. And there might be an option for you to do both at the same time, but you have to pass the Beam Data, I guess, you know, admission, whatever screening test to make sure that you actually meet the prerequisite to start working on real projects. I think we're refining that process. So if you can pass the test, that pretty much means you meet hiring criteria. We do this kind of evaluation depending on like whether Beam Data can potentially hire the student. So you have to meet some minimum requirements, and sometimes students get paid to work on these projects. Sometimes we hire the student directly as you know as contractors, and we've hired student full time as well in the past. And sometimes the clients will hire the students from these projects as well because the students already get familiar with their systems. And if the student like communicate really well, the client and left like a really good impression. Yeah, this happens. I wouldn't say it happens all the time, but this happened quite a few times in the past. And it happened just last week. We didn't even realize the client directly hired the students after we wrap up the project. No problem. You guys have any other questions? All right. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank you very much for attending this session. And we have other upcoming events, launch sessions next week. We have some evening events as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys around in the future events. Oh, sorry, I missed one question. Who should I contact to get more information? Um, maybe I'll leave you the email. Um, just info@weclouddata.com, and I think our operations team can connect you with the right person. I got a question mark from VW. Did you send any questions? Oh, okay. How long will we be able to access the data after completing the course? You will always have access. So the program itself is 6 months, which means you receive 6 months of mentorship. We noticed that, if there's no deadline and some student will purchase the course, they never take advantage of that. So yeah, so the mentorship is 6 months, but you will always have access to content. So don't worry about losing access to the content. Yeah. The cost, depending on the program, I think for the data analytics program, it's around 4,000 US dollar. Data science, AI engineering, and data engineering around 6,000 US dollar. Between 4,000 and 6,000. You have to check the website. Actually, I'm not fully aware of the price. You can go to WeCloudData.com. These are the courses, data engineering. I think the price should be on the web pages. Yeah, it's 4,000 USD for self-paced, including mentorship. And then there's like another package where you want to add extra career, like 6 months of career support. That's like $2,000 extra. But as you can see, the fee is almost half of the a regular, or even yeah, it was quite a bit lower than the live boot camp. I wouldn't say this is better than the live boot camp, because there are always students telling us that I just want a live like I need hand holding. I want a regular schedule. But there are also students who always want to move a lot faster. And I think the self-paced learning is probably a better option. Yeah. Right. And we also have a scholarship and discounts. So yeah, definitely you can just fill out the form here. And then I think our learning advisors will reach out and you can discuss like discount and scholarship with them. Yeah. Okay, thanks everyone. If you have any further question, please email info@WeCloudData. You can always find us by filling out the forms. And I'll see you guys around. Have a great day and have a great weekend as well.